Some of our favorite cartoon shows aren't as innocent as they seem. In fact, some of them have dark, lost episodes, creepy, hidden versions that were never meant to be seen. They're scary, hard to find, and some people even say they were made by accident. But today, we're going to explore the world of these lost cartoon episodes. And trust me, some of them are seriously creepy. The first lost episode we're going to talk about is from SpongeBob SquarePants. I know it might seem surprising. SpongeBob is a funny and silly show, but if you think about it, there are already a lot of weird and creepy moments in the series. The lost episode is called Red Mist. It focuses on Squidward's sadness and his struggles as a musician, and it ends in a really disturbing way. Now, let's take a look. At first, it looked like a normal episode of SpongeBob, but the longer it played, the scarier it got. I know I wouldn't want to find this episode by accident and think it was just a normal one. For our next lost episode, let's watch this video that explains it.
Let's talk about it. The Lost Mickey Mouse episode. So in this episode, it starts off with an old black and white cartoon of Mickey Mouse. He's just walking down a street, and at first, everything looks normal. There's no music, just the sound of his footsteps. But as the video keeps going, things slowly start to change. The background behind Mickey starts to look weird, like the buildings are warping or melting. Mickey himself also changes. His usual smile disappears, and his eyes start to look really empty or dark. As he keeps walking, strange sounds start playing. At first, it's just static, but then it turns into really unsettling noises, like distorted music or even what sounds like faint screaming. The longer the video goes, the more messed up it gets. The background completely breaks apart, and Mickey's face becomes almost unrecognizable, like he's in pain or angry. Some versions even show flashing images or disturbing visuals in between. Eventually, the video cuts to black, then the episode continues, but now Mickey's face looks super twisted and horrific. This keeps going till the end of the episode.
We all know Mickey Mouse as a happy, fun cartoon character. Even the old-school Steamboat Willie version is cute. But this lost episode was actually terrifying. I couldn't believe how creepy it was. It didn't feel like Mickey Mouse at all. Have you ever seen the show The Amazing World of Gumball? Well, there's a lost episode of that show too.
The lost episode of
Gumball.
So this episode is called The Grieving. I just want to say this. Please scroll because there is G or 3 if you have a weak stomach. I suggest you scroll.
this is getting really creepy, so let's watch the second part to get more of the story.
The lost episode of
Gumball.
So this is part 2, because the last video was too long. I just want to give you a warning if you don't like blood or D3 bodies, or if you have a weak heart, I suggest you scroll. Why that's not the real video is because I found it off YouTube. You can see that Darwin and Annis are D3 and in the classroom, Gumball he committed slip and slide, if you know what I mean. That's all. Bye.
This lost episode had a really dark and strange storyline. I've never seen it before, and honestly, I don't think Cartoon Network would have made something like this. It makes you wonder, who made it and why? Now this next lost episode comes from the original Tom and Jerry cartoon from the 1950s.
The lost episode of Tom and Jerry. Tom Basement. So we all know the cartoon Tom and Jerry, where you can see a cat and a mouse. The cat named Tom liked to chase the mouse named Jerry. Even though Tom liked to chase Jerry, they were still friends. But once, there was one episode where Tom cut the Jerry head with a knife. Here's how it looked like. It may be too creepy and disturbing for those people who watches this, and the episode was deleted from the TV shows. Stay safe and follow for more.
Just like the Lost Mickey episode, this one is really old. This clip is from a deleted episode, and it makes me wonder how many people actually saw it before it was removed. It's not something you'd expect in a kid's cartoon, especially not from the 1950s or 60s. Our final lost episode is from Barney and Friends. This video shows an episode that the creators of the show tried to hide.
There is a creepy lost episode of Barney that a father swears he caught his kids watching. One day he was looking at the TV guide when he saw that it said a lost episode of Barney was going to air at 7 p.m. He asked his kids if they wanted to watch, and they said yes. They all sat down to watch it, and the theme song started playing, but something wasn't right about it. It almost sounded like the song was being whispered. The episode started as it usually did, the kids holding the Barney doll that suddenly comes to life. But when Barney started talking, he sounded slightly weird. It sounded like two people were talking at once. His normal voice and one that sounded darker and scarier. And suddenly he said,
Hi kids, today I'm going to talk to you about death.
So one of the kids asked him,
Barney, what's death?
He then chuckled and said,
This is.
with his face suddenly turning angry, his teeth growing long, and then he eats the child. And then he proceeds to chase all the other children around, trying to eat them throughout the rest of the episode. And then at the very end of the episode, he sang the I Love You song as if nothing happened, so love.
I've never liked puppets and Muppets that much. They already seem a little creepy. But this episode made it even worse. If I saw this as a kid with no warning, I would have been terrified. Some of these lost episodes were just a little creepy, but others were actually horrifying. I've watched banned episodes before, but luckily I've never come across ones as dark as these. Have you ever seen a lost episode? Or heard about one? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.